Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host MT. Like always, is my web slinging friend Noah Bailey. Yeah, we've both seen Spider-Man: Brand New Day, so we're gonna start by talking about that. What are your general thoughts about this movie?
Freaking awesome.
Very, very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I-
it's great.
It's
Like,
it's great. I mean, it's really good. I mean, it really feels like I feel like for a lot of I feel like for the first three movies, they've kind of felt more like, it was like a Marvel movie where it was Spider-Man's turn. This one felt fully just like a Spider-Man movie.
and I agree with that. Even though they're like the main villain isn't a Spider-Man villain, it still very much feels. Let me put it this way: this is probably like one of the most comic booky movies I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
even down to the point where it doesn't give a single crap about any continuity before this point outside of like Spider-Man specific stuff. Because there's a lot of inconsistencies with Frank Castle's character. I like him in this movie. We'll get to him later, but like his backstory doesn't quite add up, especially when he's like supposed to be a fugitive. Um, the Hulk's whole none of his backstory really applied to this. Like, there's a couple other things here and there that like they just kind of like everything that happened in Daredevil Born Again with Wilson Fisk literally like trying to get all of New York to be anti-vigilante, and all of a sudden these movies are
Hmm.
all just happy Spider-Man,
They
like
love
very, very happy
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. It just
Yeah,
it doesn't quite make sense, but that's fine. Comic books do that all the time. I'm
they
very
do.
okay with it. And yeah, like even though outside of the montage at the in the beginning and kind of Scorpion in the middle, like there wasn't really a main Spider-Man villain in this movie, and some people take issue with that. I don't really care. I thought it was very good in spite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing that going into this more, when this movie was announced to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, I think is his name, the guy who directed Shang-Chi, people were like, the story can be whatever, but we know for a fact the action sequences are going to be amazing. And
Boy, were they.
they have, I genuinely think Spider-Man's never been better than this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really strong. And I love how it like first of all, this movie was like long but didn't feel long, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like it there was a lot of time for action. There was a lot of time for the big emotional moments. There was a lot of time for like because this, like you said, like that opening thing that goes on for a while,
Hmm.
and he's just going around kicking butt, being awesome. Months go by, he's kicking butt some more. He takes down like
Hmm.
all these villains. Like there's a tombstone moment for like half a second, which I'm like, I wish that was more of that, but that's fine. But
Yeah, and I think that so my brother pointed this out when we were talking about it later. Like I like a part of me just out of the gate was like, it was definitely a kind of weird decision on paper to have the main villain not really be a villain, but definitely not be a Spider-Man villain. Especially when
right,
you do have Tombstone and this potential power vacuum in the city, and like I feel like things were building to Tombstone being a bigger player, he could even hire Scorpion to go after, Spider-Man as his
right,
main enforcer character. Like I think all the pieces were there to make a good, street level Spider-Man versus the mob type, or though that kind of story, a la Spectacular Spider-Man show, etc. But I think this Spider-Man, you know, now 4 movies into his own movies. He's been in two, kind of three other Avengers movies, depending on how you count Civil War. Like, I feel like not that there aren't Spider-Man villains that can escalate to that extent, but like, I don't think I feel like at this point, after you fought Thanos, Tombstone should really give you trouble. You know?
yeah. I mean, I guess that's fair because it's like, yeah, like we're kind of at the point where we've dealt with a lot. And
Mm.
yeah, but And I mean, it makes sense. I guess it was just kind of more like for me, it was just kind of like, oh, like we're introducing this character, and then immediately never hearing from them again. And it's like, oh,
Like
well,
only to hear. I don't need to actually see him fight Tarantula or Boomerang or any of those other like weirdos. Like I don't need to see that. He's not like as a main villain of your movie. I don't need that. Those are perfectly fine montage character villains.
fair enough. Fair enough.
And I also I was also a little nervous about the what 3 or 4 year time skip this movie took place over,
Yeah.
but I also just kind of like this feeling of when the MCU is allowed to feel lived in because
Hmm.
there's I feel like there's this rut that some people kind of fall into of like, oh, we haven't seen these characters interact on screen before, so they've never met. When that's crazy to me, when these characters have been
Right.
around for,
Years.
years in this universe. So,
Literally years.
yeah, even though we didn't see Spider Man and the Hulk team up ever, it would make sense that he in some capacity, would know Spider Man. Yeah, Spider Man can meet the Punisher off screen at some Staten Island snafu,
Yeah.
and we're
You know
just
me.
we just go along with it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very fine with that.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, it's the same kind of not the same, but it's the same thing of like, oh, you remember Budapest differently. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
the off-screen thing where it's just like, yeah, there was something what helped out, and it's like cool.
because I
But
can't think of the specifics, but I know there have been a few times in the MCU where two characters meet for the first time. That actually is the first time they've ever met. When it feels like you should have met before now, but
yeah,
I can't think of the exact situation, but I know those kind of things have happened. Um, but yeah, I feel like it also that time skip also just kind of helped the audience kind of get in Spider-Man's head of like he's been doing this for multiple years, basically all alone. Like, yeah, he has a fancy enough apartment with some cool tech, but that's not really the same as having actual friends and other companions.
yeah. I was gonna say one thing I did kind of not, I guess, think about while he was doing that though. I was like, when he's on the phone with the chief or
Mm-hmm.
whoever, and he's like, don't you do anything else? You do this full time? And I'm like, he's like, yeah, this is what I do. I'm a volunteer. And I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, so like, how do you have money?
Yeah, that is
And I'm like,
something that people have questioned, and I kind of see both sides of it, but I have two theories. One, it could just be that Stark Tech just has a line item where they're constantly just funding Spider-Man, like
even though,
even after the whole spell, they're still just
yeah,
funding
like,
him. It's possible, probably not, but
okay,
it's possible. Or it could just be that he lives well below his means in other places so that he can fund his stuff, or maybe he's on the side either selling tech or like doing like odd jobs like for. I just feel like this Spider-Man would be really good at like freelance coding or freelance like consulting on um
that's
on just
true.
tech stuff. Like I don't need to see the minutia of every little thing he does, but I do
No,
kind
that's
of
fair.
or
That's
maybe
fair.
it's like a life insurance policy from Aunt May or something. I don't know.
But he doesn't exist.
Yeah, he does. He
I
doesn't.
don't
Yeah,
know.
how do you collect a life insurance policy if you don't?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't have a life insurance policy if if you're not a you know next of
Yeah,
kin.
that's a good
But
point.
but no, I know what you mean. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, again, we didn't come here to see how Spider-Man makes ends meet. We're here to see Spider-Man kick
Yeah.
butt. But yeah, no, and it does a really good job setting that precedent. Spider-Man is just out here. He's doing great. I love that the city embraces him. I like how
Mm.
it's not just oh, you suck, bro. Because there's so many times where Spider-Man is just, doing his darndest and the city just does not embrace him. And they're just like, bro,
I
like,
mean, last movie, like
That's what I'm
for
saying.
actively hating him. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like I understand that, like, hey man, I realized that was your car, but also he was gonna blow up the world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but no, I like how there's a lot more in this, like the police force and like people are actively like they're like, hey, what's up, man? Like, how you doing, bro? Like, there's very serious respect because it kind of gives that vibe of like he saved pretty much everybody at least once or twice over the
Hmm.
years, which I think is really cool. It kind of feels like Spider, kind of like with Spider-Man PS4, kind of like when you start out and
Hmm.
everyone's just like, hey, what's up, bro? Like, people just like you
Yeah.
based on like you put the work in.
Hmm. Yeah. And it must be especially jarring for Peter specifically, knowing that he's lived, the before and after the spell, knowing that, like, I feel like that kind of sentiment would change, like, you know, like would change almost immediately because, as far as the reality currently, they never knew, they never, uh, I guess they never would have. I mean, Mysterio still happened because they mentioned him, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
it didn't happen the same way or something.
I guess
Uh,
he just didn't reveal himself at the end, I guess. Or
yeah,
they forgot about the reveal or something.
something. Yeah, I still feel like just the general sentiment towards Spider-Man would just shift overly positively overnight, and I think that would be kind of jarring for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I I do I do kind of think this movie, in theory, could have technically, in a way, could have benefited from, like, other Spider-Man characters, like, either being referenced or like him, like, trying to branch out and you know and like I don't know the best way to put this because I really like the theming of isolation and like him, trying to do this on his own, but also, we're 4 movies in and there hasn't been a Black Cat, there hasn't been a Harry Osborn, there
Hmm.
hasn't been a Gwen Stacy. Like, there's a lot of very important Spider-Man characters that I don't like need them to exist, but if there ever was a time to put them in, I feel this was that opportunity. At the
Agree.
same time, I like Ned and MJ so much that I don't like want him to go away from them. Like, something just as I feel like just something as simple as him just, like, you know not like, relationship, but, maybe even like just kind of making friends with that one blonde girl from his dorm or his apartment that he ran into a couple of times. Like, I think that could have been something in him, like, kind of actively realizing, like, yeah, like, yeah, this is, yeah, making friends is and whatever is fine, but it's not like, but either I can't get too close because, I'm Spider-Man and I can't risk her, or, you know for allowing myself to get closer to this person only makes me want MJ and Ned even more. I feel like
Hmm.
something like that could have been done, but it wasn't needed. I feel like if there was a time to do that, now would have been it. Since clearly, they're not like back to square one, but they're going more towards, Ned and MJ being more in his life now after this movie.
Yeah, yeah, I would assume so. Which is kind of, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know. I'm like, it feels weird that by the end we're kind of like not back to where we were, but it's like he's kind of like they're reconnecting in a way that feels like by the time we have the next movie, they're gonna be almost back where they were.
Yeah, because MJ was sitting on that same rooftop from No Way Home, caressing the like medallion thing he got her in Far From Home. Uh, Ned clearly, either because he's somehow, somewhat magical, or just there is a way to break the spell. Like, he was able to, you clearly remember him, so they'll at least be involved in his life. I don't know if they're going to go straight into, oh, he's just dating MJ again. I don't really want that. I want I would want them to like, be be friends again, but not necessarily like exactly where they were at the beginning of No Way Home. I think that would be a little cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would pretty much diminish the whole. I mean, I guess the whole negative side of the movie, and then all those people die, and then all that death was for nothing. Not for nothing, but
Yeah.
you know. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it go. But that is kind of how I felt like it was leaning. And then it's probably going to be a couple years till we get another Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Granted, and they didn't say that at the end it was just Spider-Man will return. There wasn't an Avenger, so there's a decent chance they skips this one.
Yeah, the assumption, obviously we're skipping straight to the end. The assumption for me is that a Spider-Man will show up in Doomsday and or Secret Wars, either whether it be Toby or Andrew in one of those as a as a like maybe it's revealed that actually that Spider-Man was in the X-Men universe and then or in the Fantastic Four's universe and they bleed over out of that or he just comes over from his own universe or something. I do feel like the after credit scene is a little corny like considering that's already been done in in two different ways, both in live action and in animated forms. Like, oh, Spider-Man coming into a different dimension doesn't really like it's not really special anymore. So I don't really know why that was the teaser they decided to go with. Especially when Yelena was in this movie, and I feel like with this being the one right before Doomsday, having another teaser, kind of with with her building into Doomsday, I think would have been a at least decent one to do. But yeah, it's not a huge deal. It's just definitely an odd way, especially with how kind of vague and almost a little confusing it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that was on purpose. They're not trying to give anything away, but it's just kind of like, all right, here we go. Like we're doing something. Like
Yeah,
are we going? Yeah, like
yeah.
Secret Wars or some kind of some kind of something. We'll see.
Although
But
on paper, it would make perfect sense for this Spider-Man to show up in Secret Wars, since the original Secret Wars comic is where the Venom suit came from.
that's
One of the
true.
one of the comic, one of the covers of those issues of Secret Wars is him in the black suit. So like,
Yeah.
either Venom spawns from that, or he's actually in that movie, and he doesn't like he doesn't it doesn't have to follow all the same beats, but it's called Avengers Secret Wars. Like, if Spider-Man's around, I feel like you should at least allude
You
to
got
that.
to do the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's also heavy rumors that at the end of uh, in the end of Doomsday, Doctor Doom is going to do something similar to the second Secret Wars uh, event, where he basically like fuse all the multiverses together into one big reality called Battle World. So maybe it's like, oh, actually,
Mm.
Spider-Man is now on basically in a different planet, like way off in space, and like all the different Spider-Man are on that same world now
Mm.
because the other dimensions don't exist. Again, it's a little confusing. I don't think we're supposed to like think deeply about it. I think it's literally just a teaser. It's not like, oh, there is an actual other person out there who saw Spider-Man in space and used
Yeah,
the
it's not
same
that deep.
app that Ned made to track him in space. I don't think you're supposed to think about that
It's not that deep.
literally. Yeah. It's literally just saying Spider-Man is still out there. Yeah, Spider-Man will come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Spider-Man will return in some
Mhm.
capacity.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I liked the Punisher in this movie a lot. Like, obviously, I've always really liked John Bernthal's version of the Punisher, but I feel like him having like such a relatively silly character to bounce off of was amazing. Like, as much as I like him in the in the Daredevil show and stuff, since Daredevil is also super serious,
Right.
like there's not that level of dichotomy. They were always very interesting together, but it's not the same as you know Spider-Man. Who it also helped that Spider-Man is just leagues above, like as far as like powers and
Capabilities.
just general skill, like a lot
Yeah.
better than Punisher. Punisher's a guy with
Right.
guns, so it was very fun watching their banter.
Kind of just gets shocked into the real world where you can just
Mm.
like, oh, she's the guy. Like I can literally just pull back, kick you through your truck out of the street, and you're
Yeah.
done. Like,
I love his Punisher van. That's something from the comics, and I think it's one of the movies that they.
yes.
I'm so glad they actually did that. And him just like pulling out the grenade launcher, Spider-Man's flipping it, putting it up, and then him just grabbing out an identical one.
Yeah,
That's
immediately.
so good.
That's very
there's
in
a
character for
there's
Punisher.
a gif I saw of him just like that on loop.
He just keeps going. Just forever. As it should be.
Yeah. I also like how they didn't like really explain the Staten Island thing. It's just at some point in the last 4 years,
Staten Island.
Staten Island. Yeah. It also is kind of funny that there was that Punisher One More Kill one shot special thing a couple months ago, and I was assuming that would somehow lead into this, but that doesn't matter. Like it was a fun little 40 minutes Punisher romp, but it didn't really inform this at all.
I mean, it's not his, it's not his thing. It's like, hey, we're doing this for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So stuff before that's not gonna say not relevant, but it's like, we're not worried about that.
But again, I don't, like I said, I'm actually kind of all for comic book movies being a little looser with their continuity because that's what comic books do. So I'm within reason, obviously. Like,
Yeah, don't make the characters unrecognizable.
yeah.
But yeah, it should be good. I mean, yeah, I liked how there, even though there were a lot of silly jokes between them, they clearly had banter. There was also really good moments where it was like, hey man, like, this is what it's all about. It's like this is I want to protect them. It's like, no, man, if I had a chance to go back to people I love, I would, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, I think that was real. That was a really good moment there. Kind of giving some perspective to Peter, which
yeah.
obviously would have been nice to have a few years ago, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Um, I I also really liked the Hulk stuff in this movie.
Mm.
There was one kind of major complaint my brother had about this movie, and I agree, but I'm also a little more lenient about just hand waving away like MacGuffins, that kind of thing. But I can agree that this is a little dumb. How he's trying to find some way to suppress his his like crazy genetics and whatever, and he goes to Bruce to talk about his suppressor, and like they're talking about ways to like suppress specific mRNA and like specific genes and that kind of thing. And then the immediate next step is, oh, so I can make this a universal one.
Right.
I can using the
Just
logic for very, very specific spider DNA, I can make this literally any kind of mutation ever,
for
whether it be
anything.
gamma, radiation, actual genetic, interdimensional, anything.
Pull that
Like,
out of your butt.
okay. And it just kind of works.
It
Like,
worked perfectly. I think that's the crazier part. It's just kind of like, really? That was that easy?
in theory, I question something working on both Bruce and a mutant and Spider-Man. Like, those are very three
And that's what
different.
I'm saying. Like it was just like, oh yeah, this is just the universal thing for that now. It was kind of just like that easy.
Yeah. But at the same time, I am kind of curious to see how that will develop. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Department of Damage Control uses that technology which they got from Spider-Man to develop those inhibitor collars in future X-Men stuff, because
Mm,
it's pretty common for those, especially in the Fox universe, for those kind of collars to exist. So
Right.
for Spider-Man to be directly responsible for that is, I think, pretty
It's
interesting.
probably going to cause an issue later. And
Yeah.
also, it's interesting though because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've had like power dampeners before, right?
Um.
So I feel like Age of Ultron, especially for like Wanda, if I remember correctly. I don't know if how well it worked, but like because they had them.
In Civil War, Wanda was in a straitjacket with a collar around her neck, but I think there was an interview at one point saying that was just a shock collar, not a power dampener.
Okay, okay.
And
Well, in
since she
that
like needs
case,
to use her hands to use her powers, at least at that point,
yeah,
uh,
it kind of like helps.
yeah. So if she tried to think, they would just zap her.
Okay, okay. Then not. Yeah, then that's
It's
misinformed
I
then.
can't outside of the Hulk doing his Professor Hulk fusion thing, I can't think of any other actual power dampeners.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't think there are any others.
I don't really think they have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool then. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a. I do think that it is something like you said probably will have some long-term negative implications because like yeah okay this idea because especially with damage control and
Mm.
everything going on it's like there's a good chance people are wanting to shut down super powered individuals as a
Mm.
whole, so there's a very good chance they can just be like all right we're just gonna shut this down
Yeah.
like
I also do kind of question Spider-Man being so buddy buddy with Damage Control because they were kind of the ones who directly ruined his life in No
literally.
Way Home, and they're also involved in causing Adrian Toomes to go crazy in Homecoming. I don't know if he necessarily knew that, but like I feel at this point you will be able to figure that out.
Yeah,
Um,
probably you can probably make that connection especially with him in custody. I feel like that connection wouldn't be impossible to make.
yeah. So I kind of obviously they're not like as publicly evil as they were in like Wonder Man or something like that or Miss Marvel, but I still feel like Spider-Man wouldn't necessarily just trust them completely out of the gate.
No way.
I don't know exactly the best way to do that, but like maybe have them only go there because they're being directly attacked and not like going there as a friend and have like at least a little bit of more animosity there. But it's not a huge deal. It just feels a little incongruous with even some other Spider-Man stuff that have been going on up to this point.
Yeah, but it's not like distracting or anything.
No, but I do think that this movie pretty much confirms my theory that I said after Wonder Man. That I do really think that this movie or the Department of Damage Control will either like spearhead or morph into the whole like mutant
Mutant,
hunting
like,
squads that are
yeah.
commonplace in X and
Bro,
stuff.
I'm telling you, we're probably like, I bet you this movie is probably gonna be like the start, and then we're gonna be like, a step or two away from Sentinels
Yes.
very soon. So,
Wouldn't it? I I wouldn't be surprised if something that happens in Vision Quest, that show that everyone keeps
mm,
forgetting is actually happening.
I
It is
I
happening
I
later
never
this
heard
year.
about that.
Yeah. If
Yep.
something that happens in Vision Quest like directly like creates Sentinels. I don't think they'll be in that show,
I
but
could
like
see,
some kind of technology will
I
be
could see
in there
that.
that like
Yeah, because
either
it's
copies
like,
powers or like something.
right. There's a way to like use Vision's, the template, and
Hmm.
then that's kind of where the Sentinels kind of branch from.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening.
Hmm.
That would be so wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we know that an X Men movie is coming in 2028. Or they confirmed that? I know
I don't
they started like major casting. We know Emma Frost and obviously Jean
great.
Grey and Miss Marvel is technically a mutant.
Is she gonna be
Wonder
involved with
Man's
the X-Men
technically a
though?
mutant. She in the comics at least a couple years ago she was considered an X Man, but I don't know
Hmm.
if they'll do that in this. But yeah,
Guess we'll see.
there's still we're very quickly coming up to when X-Men are going to like really be involved in this universe.
Right.
Yeah. So I think go ahead and like laying the major ground pieces now is a good idea.
Yeah, this is smart.
Yeah.
Get it going. We get and then you get the world established and everything. Like, I don't know. We've been waiting for X Men. It feels like forever. So the fact that we're
Yeah. They got the
finally,
rights to it in 2018, so it's going to be up for
that's what
10
I'm
years.
saying. So it's like it took us this long to incorporate them. That feels, I don't want to say wrong, but like I feel like that could have been handled
Yeah.
better. I guess I don't know. It's
Like,
like it's never a, I don't know. It's never a perfect way. I feel like the whole multiverse stuff kind of took too long and was too short at the same time. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like you took all this time to focus on stuff that wasn't essential, but then it was like, okay, but like this is the perfect time to be like, oh yeah, we just have X-Men and the Fantastic Four
Yeah.
now and all this stuff. It's
You
just
can even
like,
do some BS of like, oh, the half of the population that got snapped, a percentage of them came back weird, and they all have powers now. You can do something
yeah,
like that. I don't know.
it's just yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just mutants now.
Or
Like
something
I
about
don't
the
know.
snap, like literally alter reality for the ones that are still around. Just
There was yeah.
something. I don't know.
All you have to say was there was just some unknown mutation,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
that's it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like you don't like I don't know. It's like in a movie that's about comic books, you don't have to over explain for realism. Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand people want to like they like that it's grounded and that, but it's also like it's still a comic book. Like it's still a Spider-Man movie. Like we don't have
Yeah.
to explain every detail. Which like I know I just said earlier. Well, how does he have money? But like you know what I mean? It's like when it comes to the bigger stuff, I'm like, listen, we just want to see everybody on screen. How we get there, as long as it's not just, horrible writing, I think we're okay.
Exactly. But speaking of good writing, I think this movie just had like just some really, really good dialogue and themes and just almost every element of this movie that makes it an actual movie, I thought was done very well. Like visually, probably the best, like at least MCU Spider-Man thing it's ever been.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you know, I love No Way Home. That climax, it's kind of hard to see what's going on some of the times.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they nailed it more or less in Homecoming with that fight happening at night. You can still pretty much see what's happening, but then that movie, I don't know, everything was a little muddy. But I feel like the nighttime shots in this just looked really good. The way a lot of it was also taking place either sunset or sunrise, and that just made everything look really good. The Hulk just looked visually really good in this movie as well. Uh, yeah, I was just generally very impressed throughout the whole movie of just what I was seeing and hearing the whole time. It was very good, especially the scenes when it was Peter getting his enhanced spider sense, just like seeing everything in slow motion and just the over simulation looked really good.
Yeah. And the sound design behind that overstimulation too, specifically like the horns,
Mm,
felt really real. Like you could feel what he was feeling. You're just like, oh, that's
yeah.
uncomfortable. Like
And the sound effects and visuals of Gene jumping between people, like that was
yeah.
also very cool.
What okay, I want to ask,
Mhm.
what as far as the like I love the concept of jumping between people. However, the fact that they like physically move into the direction they're being jumped into, I always thought was kind of like it looks interesting, but I feel like that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's a little corny, but I like it visually enough that I never questioned it. But it is a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it visually because you can kind of follow it, especially
mhm,
that scene where like it's outside and it's just like look, I'm very fast, like and you
yeah,
can like follow it easier because that would either
mhm.
that they would have to put like some kind of like colored thing to like follow it, but yeah, I always thought that was just funny. I'm like you just see all these people just like everyone just has a
Yeah.
huge spaz, and I'm like
One one scene that did genuinely kind of annoy me was actually during that scene where he's like chasing after Jean, jumping and going, trying to save MJ. I feel like it's a it's a pretty common thing in Spider-Man media to like. He's not the smartest person on the planet, but he is like, you know, on the verge of super genius. Like he's he has to be incredibly smart, especially when it comes to mathematics and physics, uh, just to swing properly. So I feel like him relying on his AI assistant to track the distance between jumps felt a little weird to me. Like I feel like if he was like bouncing numbers off of her or like using it as a or just using it like to help him with certain things, do one thing, to him like literally being like, I need an answer, Evie. Like I feel like that just felt a little off to me. It's like a huge deal. It just felt a little like that in particular felt like it didn't give the Spider-Man character enough credit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's interesting because like well, no, I agree. I get what you're saying.
I guess. Okay. The argument could be made that because in that moment he he was in his I think was he yeah, because in that moment he didn't like have full control over his powers. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe because he relied a lot on his spider sense to do that kind of stuff, and uh, he had to focus more on making sure he was swinging it properly. Maybe he just like literally couldn't, like he was overstimulated other places too. Maybe he just couldn't like devote the brain power to make those calculations or something. But yeah, I'll accept that explanation. I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Um. So we've kind of danced around up to this point. What exactly are your feelings about Jean Grey being the main villain of this movie?
It's it's an interesting kind of twist because, you know, obviously for people who don't know, they're like, that's doing great. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you're like, but to the initiated, you're like, oh,
She shouldn't be evil yet.
like it's very interesting because you're kind of like, well, this is confusing because one of my first thought was, well, that's not how her powers work. I mean, like they do, but like not real. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, she is an extremely powerful telepath,
One of
but
the strongest, if
also,
not strongest.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, I understand that, but I'm also like, when I think of Jean, I think of more the telekinesis as well as it. So I guess that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of in it because it's like it was very clear she didn't have telekinesis because she at no point used it, even in
Yeah,
person.
she did at the end when she was when she
Right,
like did the like explosion, like
right,
took
right,
over
right.
half the city and then took the guy like to her, then had like shards in his face.
Well, no, not. I meant like when she was revealed to be Jean. I meant. Sorry, I
Oh,
realized she
okay.
did. I know she like her full manifestation came later, but like it was more. I was more like thrown off when they first revealed her to be Jean because I was kind of like, well, why is she not like just like why didn't she just walk into the damage? You know what I mean? Why don't you just walk into
Mm-hmm.
damage control yourself? What do you need Scorpion for? What do you know what I mean? It was like why are you controlling all these people to do stuff you can easily do if you're Jean Grey? If you're Jean Grey, you can just walk into anywhere. They can't do anything.
Right.
And I think that was kind of my initial confusion. I was like, so either she's like limited or something's different about her. But I was kind of like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of possessing all these people because like you're basically unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like how I love the concept. I like how it was easier to like build the mystery that way because there was just this thing controlling people, which was pretty cool. But Yeah, I don't think it was a bad choice at all. I like the idea that really she's more of a victim than a villain for the most part. I
Yes.
like how they're building off of, obviously, even the first time you meet the damage control director guy, you're like, oh, he's clearly hiding something
Yeah.
huge. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you don't need spider sense to be like, that guy's full of crap. So, like,
Mhm.
obviously, there's a big, like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that they're trying to weaponize her, they're trying to do the same, and then it's like, oh, the same thing probably with Spider-Man to an extent,
Yeah.
they're
Because
just
the
using
first thing
him.
that happens is they scan him, and then later in the movie they have weapons specifically meant to take him down. That's very good.
Exactly. Exactly, which I think is so interesting. But yeah, the director only comes out after the scan's been done. I
Yep.
think that's a very interesting, choice
Hmm.
there. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. And also like, but I do like it though. I think it was a good job. I think it's an interesting way of kind of, I guess she's like the first mutant. Well, I guess kind of. I guess if you count the whole Miss Marvel thing,
Yeah.
but she's the first actual X-Men mutant
Yes.
to be, brought in except for Beast that one time, and Xavier in that alternate
And,
universe
and
from Doctor
Wolverine and
Strange,
Deadpool
and
and
Wolverine that
kind
one
of
other
alternate
time.
mission.
The first time,
in
I guess.
the 616 universe.
Right, I guess. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think her character was done really well. I think it makes a lot of sense. I like how she's I don't know. I thought it was good how they used her as more of it was like a shadow villain until the big reveal.
Mm.
And then I also loved it too because I was like, oh, okay, so that makes. She's like, oh, what she's going like, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. She's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, well, obviously she's gonna possess the Hulk. And I was like, like
Yeah.
that, like if I was evil and I could control evil, that's exactly what I would do.
Imagine being Bruce Banner and having being mind controlled by both Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That's what
then
I'm saying.
also imagine being just a random New Yorker who got shadowed, voided by Century, and then like a couple weeks later getting mind controlled again by
That's what I'm
Jean.
saying,
These
man.
people
Why
can't
don't you
think
still
that's
live in New
right.
York? You can't be that good, man.
Yeah. Um, yeah, like I said, I've seen some people kind of complain of like, but doesn't Bruce have like a handle on the Hulk? Why'd he go crazy? If like I
Oh,
don't because
because the
it
movie
doesn't
wouldn't
it
be.
doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, no, it's like because we want to see the like.
it's
I
the
will
Hulk, yeah.
say, do you? I think it's weird that he wasn't just straight up in the full Hulk, like full Hulk the whole way. Like him being smart Hulk for half the fight kind of felt off to me.
I feel like it might be more of a thing that like it's only Bruce Banner she could control. Maybe there's something about the Hulk that like literally you can't mind control him because Scarlet Witch didn't mind control him. She more like activated him and made him like even more angry. I know he had the red eyes, but I still feel
Mm-hmm.
like he wasn't mind control. He was just
Let
basically
loose.
directed in to go like
Yeah,
epic in that
thrown in a
direction.
direction.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so maybe like you know yeah, he could go smart Hulk and like get some of it out, but not if you ever went full Hulk, he'd be out of his mind in a different way.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just waiting for that moment because I was just like, oh yeah, they're just gonna show up and then it's just gonna be and I love the Punisher's reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just being like, oh my god.
I just got a question in line of Spider-Man going, I didn't know you could get that big. It's like I feel like he's not any bigger than he normally is, but whatever.
I will say I think Full Hulk does look a little bit bigger than Smart Hulk.
He's
Like,
bigger than Smart Hulk, yeah, but I feel like he's not any bigger than like Avengers Hulk.
yeah, but I don't think has he really seen Avengers Hulk?
No, well, in theory, no, because at every point he was not on Earth or not full Hulk when
Well,
Spider-Man
that's
was
what I'm
around.
saying. So he probably didn't realize like there's an extra
Yeah,
50%, 50%
yeah,
increase in size when he's fully
yeah,
operational because it's like,
yeah.
oh dang, like
I also uh this is kind of more to my point before, where I feel like because she could control Bruce in his Smart Hulk form, but not like she couldn't control him in his big Hulk form, so like she couldn't get him to like break down the door, whatever she was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was originally confused of like, why is the Hulk having trouble breaking down this door? Like, I feel like any version of the Hulk should be able to just rip and
Correct.
just get, but because he's only Smart Hulk and only like a little like a percentage of the infinite power the Hulk has, like it's not you can't
Yeah,
just
but it's also,
get through it
yeah, but
immediately.
it's also the whole, like, even Smart Home, I feel like a door can only do so much, but I guess, yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, or you could say, "Oh, the Department of Damage Control specifically made this Hulk out of vibranium or whatever." I don't know. I'm sure they
Yeah,
found
well,
some.
it's just lying around
Yeah,
these days.
but yeah, I thought that fight in particular was very good.
Mhm.
It allowed. I feel it one of those fights that kind of brought the best out of both characters. Like Hulk actually be able to like do his thunderclap
Yeah.
um, and like Hulk actually, basic like essentially winning the fight hasn't
Oh,
happened
absolutely.
in years.
No, and again, it was full on Hulk. I mean, we haven't seen legit full Hulk in, I mean, since what, Thanos in
Yeah,
Infinity War took him
yeah,
down. That's like the last time he was really the Hulk, the
hmm
Foley. So yeah, I mean, that was just nice to see. Like, it's been so long.
yeah. It is definitely one of those things that it wasn't necessary for the movie to happen, but I'm glad it's in there, and I'm not going
Oh,
to complain about
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, no. It was one of,
Like,
I mean, yeah,
mm,
especially realizing how much more movie we had to go after that was
like an
over.
hour left after that.
That's what I was saying. Like, I remember that happened, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And I like to watch, and I was like, "Oh man, we're not even. We still got a good ways to go." Like,
Yeah,
which is like, which was great because it was still more great stuff to happen. But it was like, oh wow, like that
hmm
felt like the end of the movie, and that was just the middle.
right. Um, ooh, I lost. Oh, it's especially funny. I was mentioning before how I'm very okay with there not being as like a lot of prominent Spider-Man characters in this, but it definitely felt like thematically a Kurt not Kurt Connors yeah Kurt Connors
Yeah,
the lizard. Yeah, I feel like the lizard really like if this were just a straight Spider-Man movie, that would have been the lizard.
yeah,
Scientist who works well
absolutely.
with genetics and can have like a big rage for me. That just feels like something that
Yeah,
the lizard would be involved in, but I don't
but
really
oh, more fun.
care. Oh, it's more fun, yeah. Yeah, like it makes us feel more like the lived-in Marvel universe. And uh, the Hulk and Spider-Man have crossed over many times in the comics before, so it felt right in place there.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah, I it has been a while since a a movie scene has like genuinely like surprised me, like
Oh,
twist in that way, where
mhm.
I didn't even like question is Jean inhabiting MJ during that rooftop scene. Like I didn't even like it
Oh,
completely got me.
nah,
I was
nah.
like, oh, like they're already kissing. Like I kind of wish they had, at least gone through the whole movie without. Feels
Nah. You knew, nah. See. I was like, no,
I
there's
was in.
nah, dude. I was like, nah, that's fake. Cause first of all, it's way too easy. There's no way. Like,
Mm,
if it was that easy, that would have happened years ago. First of all, second of all, it's like you could just tell, like the way she was like putting, like, the way she's like putting it together so easily. It's like, oh, I thought, but you were there, and you were there, and you were there. And I'm just like,
mm.
nah, bro, that's too easy. That's what like what like and of course, Peter doesn't question it at all, despite
Right.
all logic and reasoning. Because he just it's like it's so easy to deceive someone with something they already want to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she's just, it's just diabolical. And it's just that moment like, man, she's not even thinking about you. Bro. I was like, ah! God, like, that's so dirty. I'm like, yo, that is dirty. Like, that was so messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, like everyone in my theater was like audibly shocked by that.
yeah, everyone's like, oh, and I was like, come on, guys. Is this your first comic book movie? Spider-Man it's never good for Spider-Man.
True.
It's always worse than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that was so messed up. That was so like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy. And then he goes to the party. Mind you, the made up name is so funny because it's like, bro, you don't need a
Maynard.
Maynard. I'm like, really?
I mean, he had the
Really?
flowers for Aunt May, and
Well, yeah, like,
Maynard is the name, I guess.
I mean, you could have picked May. I thought he was gonna pick Ben or something, just
Yeah,
because.
Ben Maynard. Like that could have been
Yeah,
something.
Ben or Tony or something. Like I thought I was just gonna pick a name that was like, more. Yeah, it was just I don't know, felt
Well,
like a
why
real
not
name.
just use your own name, especially
Well,
since he.
that's me. I mean, I think it's just like muscle memory. You're so used to keeping your identity a secret,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, I can't tell him my real name,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, well, yeah, you can. Like,
Yeah. Oh, again, with just the way the movie looks, just lighting in general. There's one shot during that party scene where MJ and Ned are talking, and the way the light is shining on Zendaya's hair made it look like highlighted in red. Like I don't know if that was intentional, but like I don't know,
mm,
it was a nice little touch if that was like supposed to be a reference to like MJ's red.
probably
I think
more than
that was a nice little
likely.
touch. Why
Yeah,
she's
that was
not a
more than
redhead,
likely.
I don't know. It's not a huge deal. I don't really care. I just, it's
Clearly,
definitely like it's something people care about a lot. But I just,
it's also like, I mean, that's not how, I mean, it's how black people work, but
believe it, it's funny. Like going back and watching the press tour for Spider-Man: Homecoming, Zendaya had red hair on that press
she
tour
did.
that she just
That
didn't
is
in the
true.
movie.
That is true.
She looked more like standard MJ in interviews, but not actually in the movie. Like, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. I was gonna say one thing I did kind of expect. I thought like she was gonna go to college, the MJ we know her at, and then she was gonna
Mm,
come back more to like the traditional, like, you know, bombshell, like wow, like you know what I mean?
like pursue acting or journalism or some other thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah, something like pursue journalism because she's so obsessed with like the truth and
yeah,
like finding the truth. That's like her big thing. She always talks about, and then also just like and then like be more shit. Not, I mean, she was more generally dolled up, but you know what I mean. Like
mhm,
MJ famously is like very attractive, and not that obviously Zendaya is a movie star and all that, but you know what I mean. Like more
yeah,
leading into it as far as
yeah.
a character.
It would have been even kind of fun if like her pursuing journalism landed her a job with Jameson,
Oh God.
since since she doesn't know that Jameson is like directly antagonistic towards Peter, by way of
Right,
Spider-Man.
right.
So that could have been kind of fun, but I don't need Jameson to exist in this any more necessarily. But yeah, it's still I still would have liked to have
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no. I mean, it's a way they could go, and they could still go that way with it to an extent. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's still open to that, but I think also it's one of those things like, well, if they get into MIT, I'm like, I mean, actually, I don't know because I've never been to MIT, but I'm like, you probably don't go to MIT for journalism, but I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
sure you probably do. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Her
They
her
probably have a great program.
her switching from
It's like
bioengineering to
robotics, right?
aerospace. Yeah, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
I was like, what?
Like that. That makes sense
That was
for
interesting,
animation.
but also like, they're all like genius kids. So yeah,
Yeah.
because she was on the like decathlon team
Athletes.
with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they're all super smart. I guess just
Mm,
verbatim, just cut as is. So it's like whatever.
yeah.
But
Um, I know I mentioned the action just being generally very good. That the
oh
climax
yeah,
against the like remnants of the hand, I thought that fight in particular was very good. Like watching the hand
yeah,
like do that like multi-tier like jump
Yeah,
attack
like
and
yeah, you
like the
yeah.
defying physics. Like I'm all for it.
That screams comic book. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, like that one shot of like jumping stick into the ceiling, the camera swinging around him, like fighting the upside down. Like
Yeah.
that was really cool.
It felt like a video game. Like you know those scenes in video games where it's like, oh, okay, and then again the camera just inverts to
Uh,
you with yeah. I was feeling that too, especially like in fight scenes and like most of the beginning. I'm like, this
mm,
feels like how video game starts.
yes, the fight
You know
against
what I
the
mean?
Hulk specifically, it just something about the way their dialogue felt very Marvel Rivals esque, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm here for it. Like it was a lot of fun. Like this was a great comic book movie. It just felt
Yes.
like a ton of fun. It was awesome to see. Everyone was just on it with this game or this game, this movie. Like,
Yeah.
it was really good. The interactions were strong. And again, like I said, the emotional moments were really solid. Like you really feel for Jean, especially like when she loses her sister. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'd probably go on a rampage after that too.
Yeah.
That
And
was kind of
also
they did
really
it
like
dirty.
how VMAX ended up not being anything. It wasn't actually a MacGuffin. It wasn't a
Yeah.
thing. It was just the last thing her sister saw, and that was just sent out to her. Like that, I thought that was very clever because
Hmm.
like not every movie needs a big MacGuffin or like for a like actual like big payoff. Like it could just be something subtle like that, and I like that.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool because yeah, like not everything has to be awesome. Like it can literally just be, you know what? Hey, like, and it makes sense too because like it was a sign of, if you ever get to this point, don't let them take you. Basically, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. Like
boy, did
I,
she ever.
yep. Like I feel willing to say, and I've seen a lot of movies this year. I feel willing to say this is my favorite movie I've seen this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's been some
Absolutely.
some competition, but like again, it's the most recent one I've seen, but still, I feel like this just hit every single mark I possibly could ever want for a Spider-Man movie.
No, I mean, this movie is great. I mean, it feels like a Spider-Man movie and video game and comic book. The suits look great.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the suit. Oh yeah, I loved how I know this was the point of the movie, but I'm so glad they committed to him being in that suit pretty much the entire time.
yeah.
Like I do kind of agree with the criticism that I feel like, especially with it being more homemade, it maybe could have benefited from having like actual battle damage, but not a huge
It's
deal.
like, I mean, that's so nitpicky, though.
No, I agree. I agree. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, just especially for how good that suit looked. Like that might generally be the best Spider-Man suit ever put to film. Like it is a very, very good Spider-Man suit. I'm glad they committed to him actually being in it and with the mask on for most of the movie.
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And also, too, like, like they do a good job of like, it's like his suit looks really good. I like the Scorpion, his suit I thought
Mm,
looked pretty cool. Like it looked more, less cartoony, more like, serious, but also like
yeah.
it still fit well with this universe.
I do wish he had some kind of helmet, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's partially also because like, you want actors that are full face to be seen and stuff like that too, which is
Yeah.
like, which especially when, he didn't have a ton of screen time anyway.
Hmm.
So it's like, if I only have, what, three scenes maybe, and I'm in a giant,
Maybe.
CG, mask,
Hmm.
the whole, for one of them, it's kind of like, like,
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was very good. Just a ton of fun, and clearly, a lot of other people agreed because this was the second fastest movie to ever break $1 billion.
Jesus.
It made over 927 million in its opening weekend, and then on Monday it broke a billion. It had the
My,
highest Monday after release of any given movie ever, $47 million domestic.
Of course.
To put that number into perspective, and I know these are very different situations. I'm not even saying this to like dog on Supergirl. I actually kind of liked Supergirl. It could have been better, and you haven't seen it, but like you know, I think it should have done better than it did. But whatever. Supergirl in its opening weekend worldwide made about 60-ish million.
Good
Maybe it was
lord.
90. Six. It's either 60 domestic or 60 world. It made a
Not a
little bit of
lot.
money, not a whole lot. Whereas Spider-Man made 47 million in America the Monday after it released. By end of day Thursday, it had already broken Friday. By end of day Friday, it had already broken 168 million, which was
Jesus.
a lot more. Which was a whole Morbius. By the way.
He's in Morbius's measures of movie success. That's
Yeah.
like 3 Morbiuses right there.
Yeah, it's doing well, very well for my draft
Oh
league.
yeah, but yeah, that's over. Listen.
It, yeah, it actually ended up just barely beating in game with its Thursday to uh, Sunday, just barely beating it domestically at over 360 million.
No way.
Yep. In game did about
Oh my
357. This did about 360.
oh my god.
Yeah,
So it did pretty good.
pretty good. Yeah,
Pretty
and
good. Pretty good. Not they can work on
then
it. Jesus. He
like, was it
made
an
that
absolutely
much.
perfect Spider-Man movie? What is a perfect Spider-Man movie? I don't even think Spider-Man 2 is perfect.
Good
It's
as it's. I
great.
mean
I don't know
that,
if it's
bro.
perfect.
There's no. You can't have any legitimate complaints about this movie. Like this movie was awesome. Like
Like,
it's a ton of fun. It's not too complicated. Everything is like it's what you want. If you like Spider Man, you'll love this movie.
yeah,
Straight up. There's
abs-
no way you can be like, oh, I don't like this. Like how?
like the only even somewhat genuine complaints I could see is like even though he's not directly connected to Stark Tech, he still maybe seems a little too connected with like facial recognition software and like a 3D printing machine for his suits and like a whole new AI system. I don't even know if he like needed that stuff at this point, but he's had 4 years to develop his tech. Like, I don't
That's
think
what I'm
it's
saying.
too crazy for him to. Yeah,
And also, it's not like he's dumb. I mean, Peter Parker is both canonically and in this universe extremely intelligent.
exactly.
It's not like this doesn't just came out. Like, I understand it costs money to have certain resources, but it's like you can't be like, oh, it doesn't make sense that he's this smart. It's like, bro, like Spider Man, like he's a genius. Like,
Mm,
it's not this.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
I
this movie.
really like this movie. I don't know where we're going with Spider Man going forward, but if it's anything like this, let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely.
There are some cameos in this movie, like a lot of different people in this too. I know there was like a Cindy Moon for a second cameo, which
Yes.
might be something.
She was the one that asked Bruce about why didn't Thanos just double the resources? Clear
Yes, and
question.
then excellent question, and then he
Yeah.
doesn't answer it by saying
Yeah.
because he tells the other classmate to say because Hulk smashed. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie,
Like,
that's a drop right there. Like
yeah,
when he said that,
like,
I'm just like, bro, look,
yeah,
man,
like
like
that.
that's so
Silk
stupid.
being around. That could be one
Yeah, that
thing.
could definitely be an issue, especially if it's like, oh yeah, we're just getting bigger things back with Ned and MJ, and now there's this person that I like can't control myself around,
Right?
literally, and then that's
Literally
gonna be awkward.
universally tied to for some stupid
Right,
reason.
that's gonna be weird. Although I'm like, if it's this, I forgot how it works. It's like it's the same spider because like doesn't it like bite them both on the same day or something, or how does that work? I actually don't know.
There's they did the like there's a certain problem with a lot of comic book things where after a while they just start overcomplicating stuff and like apparently every universe needs like a spider totem to keep the web from collapsing or something, and somehow the canon event that existed in this universe happened to two different people at the same time pretty much. so they're cosmically connected as the same totem or something. It's really dumb, but it's I think it still could be done. I think it could be done in an interesting way, especially with this director doing it. Like I trust him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I don't know if I'm wrong about this or not,
Mhm.
but was that okay? So you know the scene where Jean Grey is threatening Spider-Man and through all those different people on the street. Is that
Mhm.
one guy who was talking to him along? Is that Shrek Moore, the guy from Spider-Verse?
I don't think so, but I
Look, like maybe I just don't know what he really looks like, but I could have swore that was him. I was like, oh,
I haven't heard anyone else point that out, so I feel like they would have by now.
that's what I
Because
was
he
thinking
was
too. I
in
like
a
look
trailer at one point. I feel like people would have like commented on that before now.
that's true.
But I mean, going off that, like we know that a Miles exists somewhere in this world
Somewhere.
because Miles was old enough. This is an after credit scene, so it's not canon, but like we know that or deleted scene. We know that uh Donald Glover's you know who
Right.
would the guy who would
Nephew.
eventually become Prowler, like in the deleted scene, called Miles, telling him that he would be late coming home. Again, deleted scenes are like it's not actually anything, but you
Right.
know,
But I mean,
on
it could be.
paper, Miles would have been like, I would say like around 8, maybe, unless because he still was. If he was like half the age of Spider-Man in that movie, he's like 7 or 8. 7 years. You would be like 15-ish. Well, I guess that's maybe a little older. I don't know. We're kind of getting to the point where Miles would be a little too old to be like, the young Miles that we usually know him as.
Right. It's like we're running out of basically running out of tracks for but yeah, I guess it depends. He doesn't have to be like a young kid, I guess. But yeah, it's like
No.
how old is he really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. Or maybe I just wanted to be extra, Easter egg or
I
something.
do
But
think that the blonde girl in his apartment complex was supposed to like elicit ideas of Gwen. I don't think it was actually supposed to be Gwen, but like, you know, he's not with MJ right now. This blonde girl is in the same apartment. Is that Gwen? I don't. It doesn't matter.
it could be.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a crazy. I don't think that's a crazy assumption, but I mean, it's also like it could also just be a girl that has blonde hair,
Yeah, a lot of people have
which
blonde hair.
doesn't really. Right.
I mean, Betty Brant is literally dressed like Gwen. I mean,
Yeah.
normally is, and she's
For no reason, by
no
the way.
reason, literally no reason.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah,
But yeah,
9.2 out of 10.
9.2 is so
Sure, why
specific.
not?
Yeah, no, I my official was I was my friend asked me and I said 9.5.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's
great
about right.
movie. We'll probably see it again in theaters.
Mm.
Awesome. Like I think she's actually watching it right now. But yeah, my only thing is I don't know. I don't really have any issues with it. I think it's just like I don't know. Like it just I guess it just wasn't a 10 because it's like I guess my life hasn't like I will not be forever changed since I've seen this movie. But otherwise,
Yeah,
this movie was amazing.
yeah, and that's literally the only knock. And not every movie can be like that, but there wasn't like
Right.
any outside of kind of that MJ scene. There aren't any like major like mind blowing or like wow moments, but it was just good all the way
Yeah,
through.
it was really
Like
good stuff.
like I think I overall like this is gonna sound a little incongruous, but or tangential, but like I think I overall like the Batman slightly more than this, just because I just
Yeah.
adore that movie. But
Mm.
in my mind, the vibes they give off are very similar. They're both just about as good as you could do this character. They both look very good, sound very good. Even have the same composer, which is fun. Um, so yeah, it's just a very, very good Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, excellent movie.
Yeah.
Like no complaints. Very well done. Great acting. The visuals are good. The action's excellent. I like
Yes.
the idea of like, the like spider portion is, taking over, especially over times of trauma. And it's
Mm.
like, have you been experiencing trauma lately? And it's like, bruh. Like, where
And I
have you
like how
been?
they
Like,
actually committed to, the spider half. Like he's by the end, he still has the organic webs and all the
mm-hmm.
other enhancements. So he just has organic webs now. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I know that's like a movie only kind of thing with Toby for the longest time, but I'm
It
like,
makes sense.
yeah. I'm like, it makes sense. It's like with all the other powers you have, it kind of like, I always did think it was interesting that was like you can literally stick to walls with your bare hands, but webbing coming at you is just not possible. It's like,
Hmm.
eh,
Oh, but you get the
but
knowledge of how to make stuff that does
right,
that.
which
Like,
is which
yeah,
is weirder. Like,
yeah.
how do you have? I understand if it makes you smarter, like sure, but why that way specifically?
Who knows?
That's like, oh, if you become Iron Man, you just know how to make money. Like what? Like, not that the powers with that, but you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
why are they specific to like stuff relating to me? Like, why are they just like general? Not like, I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie was amazing, phenomenal. I love it. I'm interested to see what direction they go with as far as mutants
Hmm.
with the whole Jean Grey thing, but
Yeah.
I'm
And they're
excited to see
seemingly
where this
fast
goes.
tracking X-Men stuff with the same director who made Thunderbolts. I think he's a very good person to do an ensemble cast like that. Um, and with this movie breaking 1 billion super quickly and probably on pace to break 2 billion, I wouldn't be surprised if they fast track a Spider-Man 5, whatever that ends up being. Definitely after Secret War. So maybe, like we said, the symbiote will be involved in that or whatever. But yeah, I'm here for whatever they do with anything happening with this movie. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I know I said that Spider-Man: Brand New Day was probably my favorite movie I've seen this year, but I genuinely think that the best movie I've seen this year was The
Whoa.
Odyssey.
Whoa.
And this is coming from someone who's not even like the biggest Christopher Nolan fan. Like I like his movies fine enough. I think obviously The Dark Knight's fantastic. Dark Knight Rises is not my favorite.
No, that's fantastic.
Not as fantastic. I feel like a lot of his movies can kind of come off as like a it's like, oh, we're just complicated for the sake of being complicated, like Inception, Tenet, even Interstellar to an extent. But like they're all
Yes.
very, very well made movies. I'm never gonna say he's a bad director. They just never like clicked with me as much as they do with other people. But maybe it's just because I like Greek mythology as much as I do. But man, this was a really, really good movie.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It does a good job of you feel like you on that journey.
Yeah.
Like it's like you feel like you're like, man, we've been doing this for a while.
Mhm.
Every monster is so terrifying
Yes.
as advertised. Like I dude, like I'm a grown man in the theater looking like this because I'm scared of the monsters. I'm like, oh
Like
nah.
just how
Like,
grotesque and how loud the Cyclops was.
bro.
Like they
Nah.
nailed that. Like a lot of versions of the Odyssey and Odyssey stuff like make the Cyclops look more or less like just a big person with one eye. I like him being
Mhm.
more monstrous. I think that's a good take. Um, I even really like the Lynx Dragonians, the like giant cannibals. I even liked them in
Mhm.
like the big suits of armor. Like that's very different than they normally are, but I think it's just a very like sharp visual for these people to basically be going up against these giant monsters who are dressed in better armor than they are. I think that's
Right.
very cool.
Right.
I
Like you
was a
like
little confused by the trees moving. I thought that was a little. that wasn't exactly like explained super well. Like the island itself, just not like that they're there.
I
But
mean, probably one of the. I mean, they're probably pissed off some other god or goddess also.
probably
So it's like, well,
Pan or some other nature god or something. I don't
that's what I'm
know.
saying, So it's like there's a good no that somebody's probably coming after him. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it is very funny that there were no less than three different sequences of Odysseus and his crew arriving on an island, causing trouble, and then just booking it back to the boat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, bro, between the Cyclops, the giants, getting literally turned into pigs,
Mm-hmm.
and and everything else. I'm like, yeah, like, first of all, whoever said I'm the guy who stays with the boats, genius.
Yes.
Because you missed most of the horrible stuff. But
Right.
also, I when they were leaving and then two of the boats got raided and destroyed, I'm like, bro, that's just can you imagine
It's
that, bro?
unfortunate.
Because you just know you're done. It's just like, bro.
Right. Fun thing that just like again, I'm never gonna say that Nolan is a bad director, and this clearly proves that. Like the fact that the Giants was done pretty much completely practically. They had like a bunch of 7 foot guys with 5-0 stunt actors. Like against this where they looked giant in front of the stunt actor. Like that was done
Mm-hmm.
very well. Um, and just the I, I'll get more about onto this in just a little later, but outside of the climax with Odysseus versus the suitors, I thought the action in general was done very, very well, especially the raid on the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was one moment during that fight of them like getting out of the horse and just very like raiding the city. Like there was something about that it evoked a similar feeling I got when watching. There's a similar scene in Dune Part Two, I think, where they like come out of the sand, like slit the guy's throat and go back down, and just like I don't remember exactly what like those movies kind of blend together in my head a little
They
bit,
do.
but I know there's a similar scene in one of the Dune movies that evoked that feeling of me like wow, this is just done very, very well. And I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
love how they were real. It was like this is a stealth mission. You know what I mean? Like they go
mm-hmm.
around and you shoot the one guy, and then the guy wait, what happened to him? And then dude's already got his throat. And it's just like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, really well coordinated. These guys are obviously extremely good at what they do. Obviously, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just very well coordinated, which makes it all the more scary when they're just completely outcast by all these monsters and
Right.
things.
Like there are and people people have talked about this at length, but I think the vast majority of the changes they made were, if not better, at least as good as the original. One
Yeah.
particular one being uh, in the original Odyssey when they're leaving the Cyclops' cave, like underneath the sheep because the
Hmm.
sheep are a lot bigger in the original story.
Right.
Uh, uh you know, Polyphemus is like crying to the other Cyclops, like nobody stabbed me, nobody's getting away, like we
Right.
go after like, and then they're just like like what nobody, like what are you talking about? And then Odysseus with being as prideful as he is, like it wasn't nobody, it was I, Odysseus, like that's just who he is. But I
Yeah.
liked the kind of like
In this version,
the,
he
the
just
the
shoots him for no reason.
it wasn't even no reason. It was because
The
that
sport
guy
or whatever.
he ate one of the crewmates and then like spat out the helmet back at him. Like he was gonna he was gonna let it be, but that was just so disrespectful. He like just like shot him out of like out of like one last act of revenge.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of
Just insane,
a
mind
theme
you. I'm
throughout the
like, bro.
whole movie of like revenge and like and those intense feelings kind of like you know hindering you as you go, and I think that was done very well. And they could have
Yeah.
gotten away just fine, but
Had to
pride,
make
but
it weird.
also
No,
vengeance.
Well, and I think it's also too kind of that common thing of like Odyssey, kind of like what they explore, where it's like you always like sport, you always want to give it a chance. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like kind of here it's the opposite. It's kind of like, all right, he's got a chance to come get because then he comes sprinting after them, which is like, why would you do that? He's like, oh, it's a good sport. I'm like, bro, what?
Mhm.
Like, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Um, I liked the siren scene. I really
Hmm.
liked the effect of like when the crewmates put the whack their ears, like everything got
And
muffled.
there's no sound in the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a very very faint like singing, like you can't really make it out. I thought that was done very very well. I do maybe kind of wish you had gotten a better close up of what the sirens actually look like, but maybe that's kind of the point.
I think that's the idea. Like, they're supposed to be these like, oh, beautiful, like mermaid women things, but really they're like, they're monsters that eat
Yeah.
people. So, probably don't look
Mm.
that great.
Right.
Up close.
Yeah. But again, just showing Odysseus's pride of like timing to the post. No one's ever heard their cry, so I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
first. Like,
Yeah. Oh, but but when thinking about it though, it kind of does make sense to have one person tied up listening to it because you'll know when you're out of range.
that's a good point.
So I guess like it's one of those things where it's like he's clearly doing it for himself,
Hmm.
but also there is some logic to his reasoning too. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like because otherwise, how would you even know?
Right. Um, I've seen some people throw criticisms at this movie for not like actually having the gods in it because in the original, yeah, Athena shows up a couple of times in kind of vague visions, but like in the original, like the gods are like kind of constantly like directly antagonizing Odysseus, like Poseidon
Yeah,
specifically like sending waves at him. I think Hera's even involved at one point. Zeus is specifically like striking with lightning, like, but you know, I Percy Jackson. I don't know if the show does this as much, but I know in the books they do this a lot where like whenever Zeus is mentioned, it'll mention that like you hear like thunderbolts, like thunder out in the distance. Like
hmm,
uh, there were a couple of times when they're mentioning Zeus's law and like you don't know if who's a god, like just treat everyone right, and you like hear thunder like as like he's either approving or disapproving of what's happening,
right.
and then also the ocean just actively hating Odysseus at every turn. Like that's
Well,
I
yeah,
think
because the
done very
Cyclops is
well.
Poseidon's like one of his kids,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. Um, I It's also just one of those movies where literally every single actor just brings their A game, like
yeah.
whatever's above A game. Like it's just like I've seen some people like kind of try to dog on Tom Holland for like getting out acted by everyone he's in, but like Tom Holland is also putting in a fantastic performance. He just happens to be in a movie where everyone else is doing an amazing job as well.
Right.
Like Robert Pattinson especially just was killing it in this movie.
Yeah. I think, and for me, Anne Hathaway, I think did a real
Mm,
really stole the show. Like, I feel like she did a really good job, like
yeah,
portraying so much emotion, really strong emotion, but also showing like intense heart, intense grit to just do whatever it takes.
yeah. John Leguizamo's character, the blind shepherd person,
Hmm.
he was also the scene of him like throwing that dog off the cliff was a little jarring. God, was that gonna bad? But then having that through line of the dog that Odysseus adopted, like you know, being beaten and kicked outside, but then like living long enough for Odysseus to come see him. That was a very good through line.
Mm.
Yeah, like were there any other like major bits that like stuck out to you or whatever?
I really liked how it was one of those things. I really like kind of the way he goes about everything tactically. Like when he gets home, like he gets like the when he sees Agamemnon from like beyond the
Mhm.
grave and everything, and he talks about like we thought we'd come home warriors, and we thanked, and you come back, and then his wife quite literally sneaks him. So
Yeah.
and it's stuff like that. And it's like basically he's like, yeah, I kind of forgot I threw our baby off a cliff. So I
Right.
was so worried about this war.
That was
But it
10
also
years
puts
ago.
in
Come
the
on.
right, but it also puts it in context like how much time has gone by. Because the war by itself was 10 years.
Yeah.
And it took what, 8 years to get back for Odysseus?
Like
So it's
they were
like
they were on they were in the ocean for a year, and then Calypso saying you've been on an island for 7. It's like, oh
that's what
no.
I'm saying. So you've just been literally just gone. You're
Yeah.
basic like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, I'm with the suitors on this. So yeah, I mean, bro, where have you been? Like,
Like
I would have assumed you were dead too.
Telemachus, Tom Holland's character. What was his name? I can't remember any
Oh,
name for this.
dude, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember most of the names, but
Like,
the son.
yeah, the son was like maybe 2 when he left, so he's like maybe 20 now.
Yeah. Also, the
Mhm.
moment when it's revealed that Robert Pattinson was the kid that he went to war for, like, bro,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, bro,
Mm.
I was like, you ain't.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. Sidon, I think, is that character's name. Like everything with him, I think, is also done very, very well.
Yes.
Like him being like unaware of the plan and getting killed for is so like, oh, that's I think that's done very well. And then meeting him again at the like between world, like not Hades, but like have like that underworld area. I do kind of
Yeah.
wish that was a little more visually stunning, because they basically ripped a line from the original poem of like, go to a land where fire meets water, and then we'll just meet the undead. And like I guess it's like at the base of a volcano. I was kind of hoping for it to be a little more
Fire and
visually.
water.
Yeah, I don't know. Like technically, I guess technically you're right, but and that's kind of my only real major complaint with this whole movie, is that like I think the Odyssey as a story can be told in like a very visually stunning way. Like, there's a lot of different adaptations, but I feel like the Odyssey can be told in a very very bright, very visually stunning way. And all of Nolan's movies are duller. I wouldn't say this was his dullest, but it definitely, I feel, could have been had just like a little extra visual flair to it that I feel Greek mythology could have, but not a huge deal. But just that scene in particular just felt a little like they were holding back what it could have been just a little bit. But that was like a
Mm,
complaint.
yeah, I mean, and even then, that's like,
Yeah,
you know,
not a huge deal. Oh, that was another one that they ran for the boats because the army of the dead was coming after them.
that's what I'm saying. It's funny because it kind of reminded me of that scene. I forget which Pirates of the Caribbean movie
Pirates
is, but
too.
the one
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
yeah, where the way it's like, it's just, and then everyone's like, oh god, like
Like that whole movie, like it's you ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
yeah.
Yeah. Run away, run away.
Yeah, long story. I feel like that's the story of the movie. It's like go somewhere. Oh my god, it's horrible. Run away. Go somewhere new. Oh my god, it's somehow worse. Like
Yeah. But it's also kind of fun, like, watching those individual scenes, and then at the end, it being recontextualized that, oh, the people from the sea was actually Odysseus's crew just wrecking havoc on the way. Like,
yeah.
that was very well done.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. It was like, oh, you guys are just awful.
Mhm.
Like, and I like that too because it kind of reminds you that like just because you're the hero of the story doesn't mean you're a good person. And it kind of like I don't know if you've seen the anime Vinland Saga, but it kind
I
of
have
gives
not,
that
no.
vibe. Like basically the main characters are a bunch of Vikings. They're horrible people. They rob,
Mhm.
pillage, kill like innocent people like
Yeah.
on a daily basis. But yeah, it kind of gave that vibe. It's like, we're trying to just survive and do whatever, but it's also like, hey man, you kind of like, ended that bloodline over there. That wasn't very cool.
Yeah.
That wasn't very cash money of you. And then this is kind of like, maybe that's why this is happening to
Right.
you.
Like, I don't know if it was the first land they visited or no, it was early, but like they get there and like they've already burned down the whole village, and they're like, why do they run from us? Like, why don't they just why don't they just welcome us in? Like, what's the problem? Like, the whole place is burned down.
Literally, bro.
This movie is like, I don't even know how intentional it is, but I feel this movie is like a lot funnier than most Nolan movies. I don't even know how much of it's intentional, but there's a lot of just very quick kind of fun visual gags like that. Even something as subtle as, like, again, this is not, I don't think it's intended to be a joke, but I found it kind of funny. Um, Actually, I think it's one of the villagers from that burned down village where Odysseus's like second in command crewmate guy was talking to one of the villagers, in English, which is as we know it, and the other guy is talking some other language, and he had an interpreter. This is just like, it's like, and he was like, we're Greeks, like, we're here to, we just want some food from you. I just find it kind of funny that, like, I know that the movie is, shot in English, but it's a Greek tale. But him saying, like, we're Greeks speaking English, like talking with someone who might be speaking Greek, might be speaking some other language, and then interpreting it to a Greek. I don't know. It's find that kind of fun. Like, it's not. I don't know. It's like intentionally funny. I just found that framing just a little, like, it could have, like, it. I feel there is a version of that scene where it's just a guy speaking with a different accent, and that's how you show that it's a different land, but it literally being a different language entirely when we already shouldn't be speaking English anyway. I don't know. I found that interesting.
Yeah, it's just little stuff, just like subtly. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
I feel like unintentional, but still can be effective and funny.
yeah. Yeah. And I honestly, like, I think, like, one of my favorite scenes was that scene between Tom Holland and Hathaway, where he's like, you know, why can't I be on the throne? Like, like,
Mm.
my dad's been away for 18 years. Like, I'm already a grown adult. Like, why can't I do it? Like,
Right.
that
Which makes
completely
it
valid,
again, like he's never even seen his dad at this point. Like, you know what I mean?
hmm
Basically, it's like, bro, like he's not here, so clearly somebody we gotta do something.
right? Like, I feel like, wouldn't you even prefer that over these people just inhabiting your home for who knows how long?
I mean, years apparently. So
hmm
yeah, right?
Right. But speaking of that, uh, the only scene that I felt was genuinely slightly weaker was that big fight at the end between Odysseus and the suitors. It felt so, Nolan has never been the best at action scenes, and like, I feel even in the Batman movies, like, those action scenes are, the Dark Knight, I think they're the best, but the other two movies are either like too close up where you can't see anything, or like very obviously staged. Which, obviously, I know it's a movie for every scene is staged, but it feels like very like this the scene in the Odyssey, like, it felt very much like, oh, we're gonna attack him one at a time. Wait my turn. Oh, okay, now my turn. Oh, wait my turn. Now
Yeah.
like, it felt very like kind of like that, and that's there's in a way lesser movie that would be criticized heavily as like, oh, that scene just took me out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't take the movie seriously because it felt like everybody was just waiting their turn to get wasted. Like, they didn't,
Right.
like, it was the end of the movie. You just wanted some like cathartic fight. I get it, but I feel there could have been a more interesting way to just let him just destroy this room of people who don't know what they're doing. whereas he's this hardened veteran. I think there could
Right.
have been a better way to do it, but it wasn't it wasn't terrible. I just feel it could have been done a little better.
Could have been handled better. Like
Yeah,
a more straightforward way of showing his like experience and like how he's like clearly
yeah,
knows what he's doing.
and like that, and that
Or-
kind of thing even happens in like high octane other like high octane action movies, even like kung fu movies, even John Wick to an extent. Like
Yeah,
it kind of thing does happen, but for some reason this one it felt particularly noticeable. I don't know
like
exactly why. I just maybe it
stuck
was
out more.
because it was the only fight scene like that in this movie. Because every other scene,
It's not really fight scenes. They're kind of more just run away
yeah,
from
either run
God
away
knows
or like
what.
sneak up and slit throat or whatever.
Right.
So this being the only like big action set piece, it was just just a little off, but not terrible or anything.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's fair, Chris. Because again, with so much going on too, it's one of those things where it's like this movie feels like it has every detail, but then it's like, oh, like that guy just kind of fell over.
I do. Even though like the fighting itself I thought was a little weak, I did really like the pace of the fight with the guy above fighting Tom Holland, like dropping weapons down, like with like
Oh yeah,
different kinds of weapon as they go. I thought that was done very well. Again, kind of like a video game, where like as you progress to the level, like the enemies get like different weapons and get stronger. Like, I
it's like,
thought that
oh
was
no,
very
here
cool.
come reinforcements, and then just like 20 dudes just walk out that
Yeah,
weren't here 5 seconds ago for some
yeah.
reason.
um, I think there's any other major bits I wanted to bring up.
Oh, I liked
Hmm?
how it was revealed that the reason he sees Zendaya as Athena is because of like that girl that they like killed in Troy. I thought that was a
Yes,
really cool. I thought that was a
yes.
really good moment. I was like,
Like
oh,
a
so it's almost
manifestation of
like
his guilt.
right.
Yeah,
It's not just oh, she's pretty, she's a goddess. It's like no, like you feel like this person you mercilessly killed. Yeah, it's like following you and as these horrible things
yeah,
are happening to you. I think that was really cool.
yeah. And I think it's a fantastic culmination of the like Zeus's law through line because literally the stated reason you treat everyone equally because you don't know who's the god or not. With especially with I'm gonna call him Telemachus. I don't know. That's his name. Tom Holland. He
I think that is right. Yeah.
Telemachus, something like that.
I think
Uh,
Tamelic is over there. I don't know. It sounds
yeah,
right.
he said like at least three different times you have Athena's eyes. Like say like you could be a god. Like you look nice. You look like someone we should treat favorably. So for them to for him Odysseus to admit like when we entered Troy we broke Zeus's law by killing everybody. You know whether or not that woman was actually Athena or not doesn't really matter, but also it's kind of cool if it actually was literally Athena because they broke Zeus's law so hard that they literally killed a god at the same time as killing her statue. I think that was just very, very
Mm,
strongly done. Yeah,
hmm. Yeah, I think that's so cool.
yeah. But yeah, it's just a very, very well made, very good adaptation of the Odyssey. They include every single trial of Odysseus. There's like two or three they left out, but it's kind of the two or three that every adaptation leaves out, so not a huge deal. They
What?
fuse the
What?
Lotus
What?
Eaters with Calypso. Those
Uh,
both kind of serve the same purpose in the story anyway, just to extend the length of the journey. So it's not a huge deal. There's I want to say this is Odysseus. This might be Jason or one of the other people. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was Hercules. There's some story about Odysseus like doing some race where he has to like do it in like halves. So he has to like run as fast as he can like halfway across the way, and then a quarter, and then an eighth, and then like keep going down until like basically I don't remember who he's racing or what, but or how he even wins. But it's like he does like some clever thing to like get past the finish line before whoever's ever racing. But yeah, you can leave that out. If that is him, you can leave that out. I know there's one or two other as well, but yeah, it's not. You don't need all of them. Oh, yeah, Cersei was crazy. Like, because usually, as far as I can tell, most adaptations is just them eating her food turns them into pigs.
Mm-hmm.
But
But the fact
her
that
like
she literally like,
reached down their
oh
throat
my,
and oh, that
that was
was
so,
uncomfortable yet awesome.
yeah. Oh, it was so crazy because like, yeah, like you knew like, yeah, like her physically doing it was rough to watch because she's like
Mm.
ripping, like pulling ears and her mouth throughout and making like it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
just ridiculous. And how she's like encouraging him to like, yeah, let's bring a pig in to like, do this and that. And it's just like, bro.
Mm.
Yeah, and you knew it was up because like as soon as you look around, it's like, how is there just a giant lion here on this island just
Mm.
chilling? Like,
Yeah.
nah, nah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Any other uh, thoughts or anything else you want to say about it?
I mean, it's just really good. I'm trying to think of anything we haven't already said, but like, I mean,
Obviously,
it's just
the
really
score is
good.
great. Nolan always gets the best people to do his
Yeah,
scores. Um,
yeah, yeah. Score, of
I,
course, was awesome.
I will
Go
say
ahead.
that John Bernthal playing Menelaus, that
Mm-hmm.
was the one actor where I was like, you seem a little out of place here.
It
Like,
kind of took
there's
you out
something
of it.
about him just didn't quite fit with the rest of the movie. I can't quite put exactly what it is, but like maybe it's just because I literally only know him as the Punisher, and it just I couldn't just get that out of my head. But
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even realize it was him till like halfway through. Because the bald, I was kind of like,
mm,
oh, like I was like, oh wait, I thought about it, and I was like, wow, you're just doing side quests from Brand New Day.
right, it is
Like,
so funny that uh, Zendaya, Tom Holland, and him are all basically in two different billion-dollar movies at the same time.
literally.
Which
Well, and
obviously
then
hasn't broken a
Zendaya,
billion yet, but it's going to with it. I
it's
think
going. I think it has by now,
it's
hasn't
at like
it?
911 ish now.
Ah, okay,
So
it's gonna
yesterday,
make it.
yeah,
And then they're gonna be in Dune. Well, Tom Holland and Zendaya. Well, not Tom Holland.
Robert
Zendaya is
Pattinson,
gonna be in
Robert
Dune
Pattinson too.
also. Yeah. Say what?
Robert Pattinson's in Dune 3 as
Oh,
well.
that's okay. That's who I was like. I know
Yeah,
someone else in there. Yeah, that's gonna make another $1 billion. So
hopefully, yeah.
yeah, more than likely. I feel
I mean,
like
it's releasing the
I
same
know it's coming around.
Doomsday, so either one is going to tank or they're both going to do very well.
I feel like they're both gonna do fine. I don't think either of them's gonna tank because I feel like they're both different enough.
Yeah,
Like they're
plus I don't think there's anything coming out like shortly after. So you
right.
watch one week and watch the other the next. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It could be like the Barbenheimer thing. Like, they
yeah,
were talking about Doomsday, right?
yeah.
I feel like
Dune,
there's a good chance of that
Doomsday.
happening. Probably not to the level of memeage, but as far as the level of like how like effective it is, I could see that happening.
Yeah, especially now that with how good Spider-Man did, I think people are going to be
Shit.
reinvigorated for just Marvel stuff in general.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, and yeah, like Dune 2 didn't do as well as it could have, although it released in March, which I was always a little confused by. So I think, you I feel like, July and July and just before Christmas are kind of like the two best times to release. Well, before Thanksgiving too, that can also be especially for anime and stuff, that can be a good time. But like the holiday season ish and like July, those are kind of the two best times if you want to make $1 billion.
Yeah. Or just honestly, if you have something really good, just make sure nothing else is really coming out. Because like,
Yeah.
you know, but we'll see.
Mm.
But I think it definitely is going to like make a ton of money, regardless,
Yeah.
both of them, to be
Mm.
honest.
Okay. That's all I have to talk about today. Anything else that you feel is just super pressing we need to bring up right now?
Not really. I think just right now, the world's just reeling from how good Spider-Man was. We're
Yeah.
trying to just get back to reality. It's like, well, that was better than I thought it was gonna be, and I had high
Right.
expectations.
I think it was my most anticipated movie of the year. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
no
it was.
way. And
Yeah.
feel pretty good about that right about now.
All right. So with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care.